Hello, everyone. Good evening. Tonight, I have a very special guest joining me today, and I am so excited. It's Coffee with Miss Amanda, and I'm waiting for her to join us on this live. And yes, she's joined, which is amazing. So let's get her in. Oopsie. All right, Amanda, how are we going? Let's see. All right. So, Amanda on this call. And today we're going to be talking about how women in online create opportunities for others. And yes, I think Coffee with Amanda has just joined. Hi, Amanda. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's freezing where I'm at. It's so cold. And yes, I'm just so excited and very, very honored to have you here on this live. I'm excited to let all my viewers know and people become aware of what is it that you do. And yes, so I'm going to give the floor to you. I'd like you to please tell me a little bit about yourself. What is it that you do? And yes, how you make an impact with what it is that you do.
Um, well, my name is Amanda Rogg. I've been married 22 years this month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Have three kids, ages 15 to 20. Um, I homeschool, so I've got two left in school. So that keeps me busy. Um, and I am a life coach who specializes in helping moms kind of find the balance around the home. Um, Things like faith, family, time management, decluttering and organizing, just all of the home life stuff.
Fantastic. I do want to ask you, what's the secret to 22 years of marriage?
Well, faith for sure, but commitment. It's always about commitment on both sides.
Yes.
And kind of the idea of don't let the sun go down on your anger.
First,
Work
I
things out.
never go to bed angry because that's,
Yes,
I would
it
never,
is.
I don't like that as well. It's something that I
Right.
don't do. And I don't enforce anybody doing it. Okay, fantastic. So tell me a little bit about the routines that you follow, with being a homeschool mom and how does your business incorporate, with your daily routines?
Yeah. Well, I coffee with Amanda on here, so I always start with coffee. Yes. Um, Several little prayers throughout the day definitely helps. I have certain routines. It's kind of more of a thought process at this point, but kind of just times when I feel overwhelmed, I'll take a second, kind of step back,
Does it,
breathe in.
I'm sure it happens because, you're homeschooling, so there's a lot of overwhelm. How do you deal with that? How do you, what advice would you give to other moms that also deal with that?
Well, for one, I think a lot of times we're just too hard on ourselves. We put all that pressure on ourselves, and we need to realize that, it's okay to let go a little bit. And if you have an off day and you don't get every subject done, it's not
Hmm.
going to be the end of the world. um, and I also, my kids are all older now, but even now, we have quiet time every day.
Oh, that's amazing.
So after lunch, we all kind of go to our own spaces just because it helps us kind of recoup. Um, for the kids, if they have schoolwork that they need to work on that's, needs a little more concentration,
Kind of
then they
digest,
do.
because the madness of the morning, I guess.
Yes.
All right.
Um, and then I use that, yeah, I use that time then for my business stuff too. That's the time they know that I'm off limits. So if they need help with school stuff, it's usually in the morning that I
Okay.
make myself available for them. But then in the afternoon is kind of the time that I take to do things that I need to do without interruption.
Do you take every day and dedicate that certain time for your business? Is that something that happens daily, or is it just you know, as the day comes, goes, when it's
Uh,
convenient?
it it's more or less I set that time aside every day, not necessarily on the weekends, but there's a couple of days throughout the week that fluctuate. But
Hmm.
for the most part, that time is kind of set.
Hmm.
And then as the kids have gotten older and more independent, I if I can squeeze it in during other times of the day, then I'll do more.
Fantastic. Okay, I really like the idea of just having like quiet time. I think that's extremely important. I think it's also just to process everything that you've gone through. I do that with my daughter. I have a 9-year-old.
Oh
I was
yeah.
about to say 8-year-old, but 9-year-old. And she, you know, every time she comes home from school, it's usually just like, you know, YouTube, and it's just, and I'm like, no, just, you know, process the day, you know, just talk to mom, you know, tell me about your day, what's been happening. Because I think when you pick them up from school, and you know, I do take my child to the conventional school. I can't,
Mhm.
you know, I have mad respect for you for doing the homeschool thing. Mad respect. It's hard work. So my hat goes off to you.
Thank you.
When I do fetch my daughter from school, I use that time to kind of connect. You know, I've created the space like you have created the 1 hour space or 2 hour space. After I've created also the space in the car where she's able to be and do say whatever she wants. Because at school, you've got to be a certain way. At
Mhm.
home, you've also got to be a certain way. So I don't feel like they have a space to just let loose in front of me, you know, where it's like a safe space. So I urge that. I'm a big advocate for that. So very
Yeah.
well done. What do you think? Is that a good idea? What would
Oh,
you?
I think so. I think
Okay,
so.
fantastic. Thank you. So I'm on the right path.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's always good to have a place where you can, like you said, let it all out there and have a safe place.
I'm sure with me, I have my best friend, Annabelle. She's my place where I vent. You know, it's usually just a phone call because she's a flight away.
Mhm.
But yeah, she's my go-to person when I need to just vent. I go in the car and I just, you know, the car is my safe space.
Yeah.
So your safe space, do you have a safe space where you could just wild out?
Well, it's either my bedroom or sometimes I just kick them all out of the living room.
That's a good thing. When mom needs the living room, mom needs the living room.
That's
It is.
right.
So, Amanda, tell me a little bit about what is the hardest part of your job?
Really, I think the hardest part is being kind of that line between being real and showing people the reality, because it's not always perfect,
Hmm.
but also showing them that there's hope, so you want them to see the hope and to see the idea of perfection
Hmm.
without showing it as perfect because it's not.
Art. And do you think social media, like, how do you use your social media platform to make sure that that balance is reached?
Well, I try to share little bits about daily life. Not necessarily all of the ugly because that's not always everyone's business. But um, I do show real life, so there may be times where maybe I'm teaching someone how to declutter and organize, but you may see a spot in my house that's not that way,
Hmm.
then that's because it's always a work in progress.
Exactly.
So I try to show the reality, just be real,
Hmm.
um, share things as they happen, daily life.
Hmm.
Um, and also, I mean, I do have a group that's, a little bit more organized to where we share different things. But for the most part, I just like to use it to, for a while, it seemed like everything on social media was always polished and it had to look perfect and it had to, like I
What a,
can't fit into that mold.
what a nightmare, isn't it? It's such a nightmare.
Yeah, it is. And so I think, thankfully, we're starting to get back to where people want to see the real life.
Yes.
And,
I would,
they want, because you can't relate to perfect because
no,
it doesn't exist.
I 100% agree. I couldn't have said it better myself. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really good. Well done. Because I must add a bit to that comment. I've also been one of those where I'm like wondering how is every post so polished and perfect? I would like to know. I was like, what does that person look like in the morning without makeup? Or what do they look like when they just, wake up. What is the first thing that they do? Like, do they have affirmations that they follow? Like, is it, do they have a routine? Or because it just can't be perfect. It's just, it doesn't exist. For
Right.
me, something's fishy here.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Gotta be one blooper. There has to be bloopers. I think that it's so important for people to see you a little bit silly. And yes, I can definitely relate to that. And with your job, especially focusing on the job, or like the work of organizing, I think it's very difficult. Because like you said, some people might think it's not organized, but for you it is. How do you handle that? Like in terms of criticism, when some people think that it's right, but it's not.
Well, for one, it's not a one size fits all. Um, there's actually several different organizing styles and
Mm-hmm.
characteristics, and that hung me up for a long time because before I realized that, it was kind of like, why can't I do it?
Yeah, and
But
it
then when you
was not you.
right, but then when you realize there's different styles and different ways to accommodate all of those,
Hmm.
um, so what's clean and organized to me may not be to you, but that doesn't make it right or wrong.
Exactly. It's just
And
it's your view, it's your perception. It's something that no one can take away from you.
right. And so yeah, there's that's one of my answers to it is just the different organizing styles.
Hmm.
But another answer is that it's always a work in progress.
Hmm.
So maybe that mess you would see behind me is something that I'm actually working on at the moment, you
Oh,
know.
exactly. Have you
So
criticized, like, have you ever been like, has anyone criticized your organization skills? No?
well, I'm kind of just getting started, but there are times where I have been on a call, not necessarily with a client, but with just, kind of like we are.
Mhm.
And later they might make a comment of like, well, you might want to do the video somewhere else. So I'm like, well, sorry, this is me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like I prefer the polished background. I've got my blind over here. It's kind of just my corner where I do my thinking and where the magic happens. So,
Right.
uh, yes, and that's your corner, and it's perfect for me. It's wonderful. So I think we should also just embrace who we are and just forget about what other people think. I think that's the big
Right.
here that us as moms, as going into the online space, that's the one thing that we do worry about, what people are going to think. And it's
Right.
just grow older, you just like, okay, whatever, that's me,
Yeah.
personally, in my opinion. But I think that I've just gotten over the fact that, people will just, haters are gonna hate. So
Right.
it just literally is what it is.
I agree. I agree.
Moving on. So, how have you grown personally, in terms of like balancing the whole mom life and creating your online business? Have you grown? Have you seen changes? What would you say is a significant change, or are you still feeling it? Are you still going through the motions? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, there's definitely been some change because it took me a couple of years to kind of figure out where my focus really was.
Uh-huh.
And so I would play a little bit here and a little bit over here, and then had to kind of find the comfortable spot. And so I'm really just kind of getting into that groove.
Hmm.
But
Fantastic.
it's just always a work in progress. And of course, if you're a stay at home mom for over 20 years, then, once you try to start focusing on what it is that you're good at, other than just simply being a mom, that
Yes.
gets a bit, you kind of lose yourself, not in a bad way, because my
I've been,
dream job was being a wife and mom, and I've done it.
yes, but now
But
that you've grown and you've got to think about yourself.
right. So yeah, as they get into those teen years, you kind of have those are new waters. And
It's like
so it's
present, but then you shouldn't be as present. Like you've got to be there, but not there.
right.
Yes. So do you find yourself having more time to focus on things that you want to do? I think that now that, your dream was to become a mom and a stay-at-home mom and raise your children, and like you've accomplished that, and very well done for that. But now I feel the sense of you starting to like build your own empire, which is something that's, I think, speaking to you for a little bit, is starting now-ish.
Hmm. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And tell me about it. Is it scary?
Oh, it's always scary anytime you put yourself out there. And for me especially, I'm more of an introvert. I don't, I'm fine just being behind the scenes.
Hmm.
And
How,
so it's new.
how do you, mentioning the fact that you're an introvert, how do you work with yourself and get yourself out of that comfort zone? Like, being an introvert and, you're doing something fantastic, by the way, being an introvert and go, whoa,
Thank you.
you're on the right track, girl. That's fantastic, and I'm so happy that you accepted this live, because I think it's a fantastic opportunity to be, to take that step forward. So
Right.
um, this is what I'm basically doing. I would love to give more women like yourself an opportunity to come and speak with such a delightful person like myself,
You're
and
right, of course.
no ego, just confidence, and build your self-confidence in terms of the online space. I don't think that there are many coaches like that available.
Yeah,
And
that's great.
yes, so that's basically what I'm doing. And then with that, um, you know, helping them create their own online business, but more along the lines is to focusing on confidence, because I'm also just like getting out there and I'm loving it. So I want other people to just climb on my train and be like, you know what, Rose, you're fantastic. Let's just do this. So
Yes.
how is it working? Like in terms of what is it that you do? Do you like listen to rock music and then you come on? Do you take a nice bath? Do you, have a wine?
Um,
Girl.
I just like the quiet with coffee. So my unwind is sitting down with, just a little bit of peace and quiet to get my thoughts straight. If I've got a lot going down in my head, I'll do a brain dump and just kind of write it down and get it out of my head.
So
And then
journaling.
I can, yes, focus where I need to and move on.
Fantastic. I like that. Journaling is also something that I love to do. Also at night, I've got, my journal and I just dump everything and then I feel better. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Next day. So, seeing is that you've just started in terms of the online business. How would you define when you've reached a successful part of, the starting process? Like, how would you define that?
I think it's really just finding that first mom that I really helped to
Hmm.
know, to know that I'm on the right track and that people are able to learn from me
Hmm.
and that I know how to teach it because, like we've already mentioned, it's not perfect.
Hmm.
Um, but you learn a few things after 20 years of being a parent and being at home. And so my
Is there,
hope is just,
you have a magic manual on how to be a perfect parent?
oh, I wish. I don't think there is a perfect parent. There's lots of mistakes. Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
But you learn a few tips and tricks along the way, and so if I can just help other moms with little bits of that and let them realize, I think sometimes it's good to know that it's not perfect,
Hmm.
but to also know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. um, so just to, for me, it's not necessarily about the finances. Obviously that helps.
Yeah, that's.
But the main point is just being able to reach out and help others and to know that they're not alone.
Hmm.
So I think success starts just when you start hitting that point.
Hmm. I resonate with that because I would like to first let my work speak. Then, finances is not the first thing. Making money and doing that. I'm not going to say you got to pay me for me to help you. No, if I know that I can help you, and make sure that your confidence is up and that you've got the right tools to start a successful business, that's success for me. I think it's just a lot of people, and correct me if I'm wrong, they do it the other way around. They would
Yeah.
want first, and that's when, look, we all have bills to pay, sure, but if you have that one or two, or that, the 5 people that you could just help, because everybody starts with helping people for free, whether they
Right.
start online business, whether they start something from scratch. There are people that they're going to help for free. So, it's a learning curve. And just let me know, you agree with the fact that some people would rather just jump in and want the money? Or do you think that coaches nowadays have just now, decided to just help people for free? What do
Well, I think, I think you're right that a lot of people are in it for the money.
you? Hmm.
Um, I think I'm hoping that that trend is changing a little bit because I know a lot of the different trainings that I've seen in certain business groups, they
Hmm.
try to focus on helping first.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping that trend is changing, but um, I
I
think you'll find it both ways every time, I think.
I think so too. I think if you start something and you build it first with integrity, and then that's when you can get like positive reviews and people to actually trust what it is that you're giving out. So
Right.
not as to say that, oh, you have to buy from me without having any tangible like proof and saying, okay, but who have you helped? Like there's no such thing as that. But I'm glad that we're on the same page, and I definitely resonate a lot with what you're saying. Is being a mom easy?
Oh no, not at all.
Tell me why.
Well, it's just there's always curveballs. And especially if you have more than one kid, they're all going to be different. So just because you figured out with the first one doesn't mean by the time you get to the third one, it's going to be the same method. That comes with punishments or, discipline. It comes with schoolwork, whether they're public schooled or homeschooled, still those learning styles.
Hmm.
When they come home with homework, it's still going to be different.
Yes.
Just all aspects of life. There's just, in each stage,
Mhm.
maybe you've got the toddlers figured out, but what about, the elementary? And then they hit those teen years and you're dealing with all sorts of stages. And then on the flip side, there's the young adult. And it's like, how do you parent a young adult? So, there's always going to be something that's not so easy.
Which stage is the hardest part?
Oh, that's hard. I think really the ages between maybe 12 to 15
Hmm.
have been, just because that's such a tricky age. They're they start to mature enough that they think they know what an adult knows, but really they don't at all. And it's kind of the age.
Fine.
What's that?
I think I've already got one at 9 years old.
Well, it's different for everyone. Maybe you'll get it done and over with.
Hope so.
But they want to try things out. They want to experiment.
Mhm.
Um, Thankfully, nothing too bad with my kids, but well, nothing that lasted long anyway. Um, but there's just always testing the waters.
It's always
Um,
it's always good to have bloopers. I am. It's good. It's a good thing. Like today, the funniest thing happened. My daughter never lets me know when her tooth is loose,
oh,
and today, because she's currently not feeling well, I was feeding her soup, and her tooth fell out, and I was like, "Say what now?" And I was just like, she's like, "Surprise! Thanks, Sal. You're so cool." And she's like, "I love giving you surprises." So
oh,
never tells me because I make such a big deal. I know it's such a small thing, but you have to make a big deal out of the small things, because then
mhm,
when the big things come, of course you're going to make a big deal out of that. So
right.
so that was my lovely Sunday.
Yeah,
Falling out and dealing with fevers, and yeah, it's one of those things.
yeah, yeah.
All
That
right,
part's not so fun.
hey.
The fever part is not so fun.
Not. But it's even when any child is sick, I think it's just for the moms, it's the worst because we feel it worse than what they feel it.
That's
So
for sure.
and they take the fever and they just put on YouTube or a movie and they're fine, and we're just
Yeah.
what are we gonna do? Do we have to go take this to the doctor? How are we gonna take the
Uh-huh.
oh my gosh, we have to change our schedule.
I
Everything
know.
up around them. So you know what? Handling three on your own as a stay-at-home mom and homeschooling. Oopsie, bless you. My biggest fan here. She just
Yeah.
spoke. She's
Oh.
just spoke up and she's, sneezed. Anyway, thank you for a blooper. And so, last but not least, how do you think, my dear Amanda, that you're going to be using the online platform to help others? Like, what is it specifically that you want the viewers to know that you are going to be working on in future so that they're able to contact you, so they're able to know what it is that you do? And then, yes, we can share that.
Okay. Well, I have a website, amandarog.com. So that's where a lot of as I put together programs or any PDF downloads I offer, anything like that, they'll be available on there.
Okay, fantastic. And
Certain
do they consist of? Excuse me.
So far I have a couple of PDFs, kind of like a 21-day happiness challenge, just trying to choose happiness every day. I've got one that focuses on decluttering.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working on that one a little bit more to make it a little bit more of a program so that maybe it'll involve a Facebook group for the accountability.
Okay.
Because that's such a big thing.
Yes.
When it comes to decluttering and organizing.
I agree.
So I'm working on that. And then I have a Facebook group for moms. Most of them are stay-at-home, work-at-home moms. There's a few others moms in there, so it's not only them. But
done, tag that all in so that everybody can find it easily, and then I'll also tag it on my Facebook business page so that we can spread the word and
yes, thank you.
an empowering woman, and making sure that they have as many platforms to spread their awareness and spread their help. So yes, we will share that definitely after this, so please do continue.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that's the gist of it. Just it's kind of the providing the safe spaces. I do a little bit of sharing on Instagram. I'm working on doing a bit more. It's mostly in my stories that I'm on Instagram, but
it's a slow, you know what, it's a work in progress, Mom. So give yourself some grace. You're doing an amazing job. So doing homeschooling, raising 3 kids, and doing your own business. Well, I'm doing it too, and we're rocking. We are rocking. And this life is a testament to the things that are coming. So yes, I'm very, for what it's worth, from one mom to a mom, I'm very, very proud of you, and continue to do it. And I'm very inspired, and I'm glad that you reached out, and we can get this together and get more people aware of what it is that you do, so that you can help others. And I do believe that you're going to be amazing at what you do.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you reaching out too, because it's been great.
Boost, I'm here.
Yes. Yeah.
With any of these as you like. And just to talk about different topics and bloopers, like today my beautiful princess sneezed, so
that's all right. That's the joy of home life.
Exactly. And trying to do the business thing. So is there anything else you'd like to say to people who are viewing? I just want to say thank you for everyone that's viewing, and for everyone that's going to watch this. Please do check out on the comments that how you can reach out Amanda. She's fantastic. I highly recommend her, and this is not the last time we're going to be talking. So if please end with a quote, or what is it that you do before you go to bed? Tell us a little bit. End it in a nice note.
Well, for unwinding at night, I like to sit with not my coffee, but tea. Just a hot cup of tea, and just kind of relax and take a few moments to unwind from the day.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I think I agree with you as far as reaching out. And I think you're doing a great job also, helping to boost that confidence and get things going.
Yes, and we'll definitely plan another one where we focus on, once you've, narrowed it down on what it is that you're going to be focusing on, then we can definitely grab another call, and we can make sure that people know, the 5 fancy tips on how to stay organized, or, all that. Or how I can also do that in terms of confidence. So I think, my platform always stays open to you whenever, and wherever you are in the world. And joining us from where?
I'm in Oklahoma,
Oh, that's amazing.
United States. Yeah.
I'm in Portugal. So that's fantastic. Look at how we're creating a global community. So I'm really happy that you decided to join us. So I'm going to end this off by saying thank you so much for your time. I'm going to be uploading this on all our platforms if I know how to save it, because I'm not exactly technically savvy.
Yeah, I'm
But
not sure.
nevertheless, if that happens, we will create another one and we'll do more.
Right.
You know, I don't think Instagram's going to go anywhere. So we're
No.
definitely going to get this platform out more often.
Yeah, I agree. It's been great.
So I know it's daytime by you and it's nighttime by me. So I'm going to wish you a beautiful day ahead. And thank you so much for your time and a beautiful night to me, I guess.
Yes, a good night to you, and everyone gets better and stays well.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So take care and until our next live.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.